Good morning, everybody. How you guys doing today? Mr. Max Voltage, look at you in the chat. Good morning, everyone. He's almost at work. Have a great day. Perfect. Mr. Max Voltage, I appreciate you stopping by. Thanks, buddy. Who else is here? Let's see. Zapirate, D-Mining, Carl Coat. What's up, buddy? Game with Smokey Dan, Ziege Miner, Rud Puts, as always. Appreciate you, buddy. Yeti, Kyle Rosa, Dan R. Who else? Let's see. Little Stanky. What's up, buddy? Royce, Carl Coat, and Alvidas. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. All right, so today is the Shanghai upgrade, supposedly. So we're going to see how it goes. But nonetheless, let's start with checking out the market this morning. Look at that, 30,000 Bitcoin. It's still holding. It was up to what? 30,400, if I'm not mistaken, at one point. I'm not sure how high it actually got, but it was close to there. Ethereum 1874 was at 1900. I'm wondering if it's going to tank or not, but there is I guess there's some news where, or there's going to be like a slow exit, right, for Ethereum. Like, you're not going to be able to take out all of this money all at once. So we'll get into that in just a second, but either way, let's look at what we got for the day. Man, today's just a down day all around. Let's see. We have Solana's up 5.4%. INJ, I don't know what that is, 5.1%. FTT 4%. And XRD 4%. All right, everything else looks like shit today. So CASP is down 7.4%. Jeez, it's awful. Fear and Greed Index, we have 65%, or 65 in general, right? That is greed. Not too bad, though. Top 10 coins: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, USD Coin, XRP, Cardano, Dogecoin, Lido Staked Ether, and Polygon in 10th. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I want to read this little article here. So this was put out actually on the 5th, and then we'll get into like top news of like yesterday and whatever this morning or a couple hours ago. Let's see. But in Shanghai, there is a day already at there is the day already at its end. Yes, they are 12 hours ahead, so it would be 8 p.m. right now, I believe, right? All right, let's see. So right here we have an Ethereum transformation is on the horizon, and no one is sure how the market will respond. In time, the Shanghai upgrade may be remembered as a uniquely bullish event for Ethereum, the world's second largest cryptocurrency by market value. The short term, however, a number of world's leading Ethereum quant traders who historically have outperformed ETH staking yield believe price action will be neutral to potentially bearish due to the expected large increase in circulating supply of Ethereum after investors are finally able to withdraw their stakes. So for those of you guys that don't know, if you guys haven't been up on news or anything, as far as being able to withdraw your Ethereum, you're only allowed to withdraw anything over, like if you're a sole staker, right, with 32 ETH, anything over that 32 ETH threshold is what you're allowed to take out today, or supposedly, right, later on tonight. I think it's I don't even know. It's sometime at night. But yeah, you're only allowed to take out the yields you made for the past 2 years or however long you've been staking. So if you're in like a Lido staked pool, right, where everybody gets together and makes the 32 ETH, you're going to get paid out, or you'll have access to your portion of the gains. Does that make sense? Right. So that's pretty much what's going on. So I honestly don't think it's going to be too bearish, just because like there's not going to be, you're not allowed to just take it all out. They're doing it in increments, right? So whatever. Anyways, over a long time horizon, it says Ethereum's total switch to proof of stake is likely to only benefit the network and Ethereum's price enough so to possibly dethrone Bitcoin BTC as the world's largest currency by market cap. Amphibian Capital, my firm, takes this logic further and predicts ETH may reign supreme. Sorry, I just read that so wrong. All right, ETH may reign supreme as one of the world's top 3 most valuable assets in the next decade. The Shanghai upgrade is a crucial step in that direction, which will likely increase liquidity and trading of Ether and possibly attract more institutional capital into the crypto economy. And that's like one of the most important parts right here. Seeing this being a successful project may actually turn this into a bullish thing, right? First, the Shanghai upgrade will enable users to participate in Ethereum's validation process through the implementation of the beacon chain mechanism, making staking more accessible and efficient. The beacon chain mechanism will democratize the staking process and allow for greater participation in the network, leading to increased security and decentralization of the network, a bullish sign. So let's listen to CoinDesk and just see what they had to say about this little thing, and then we'll jump into the CNBC news from yesterday and Altcoin Daily and all that good stuff. So if you guys have any questions in the chat, just ask me while we watch this, and we'll go from there. All right, let's do it.
In the next 8 days, we're going to see the Shanghai upgrade on Ethereum. We're going to see a lot of people be able to unstake their Ether for the first time in over 2 years. Now, a lot of people are looking at this market event and predicting that it could put some downward pressure on the price of Ethereum, or ETH as the ticker is called. And so we have a little concerns there. So a little bit of celebration, but also a little bit of fear that we could be seeing, again, some downward price pressure from this upgrade. On a technical front end, what this really means is that people who staked Ether to secure the Ethereum network and have been doing so for a while are able to actually claim both their rewards and the initial capital they put up onto that network for the first time. Some people have been staking for just a few weeks. Some people have been staking for years now. And I think those people who've been staking for quite a while are going to want to pull their money in order to gain some of the returns that they've earned over that period. A lot of these people are in the profit, about 40%, according to some numbers that you can see in the CoinDesk article that we have here. And that means that those people probably are going to pull that money and put it into another trade. That could result in about $2.4 billion worth of price pressure on Ethereum. Of course, when we're looking at like the daily trade volume of Ethereum, it's actually kind of a blip. It's about 20%. And this sell pressure is going to be spread out over the course of a few days. So I myself am not super concerned about this. One other thing that I do want to get to before I throw it over to you, Jen, is that CoinDesk did stake Ethereum about 2 years ago with our node called Zelda. I helped set that up along with Christine Kim, a former research associate at CoinDesk, who is now at Galaxy Digital. This is a pretty fun project just to, get our hands dirty with Ethereum network and report on it. And I think they're going to unstake this ETH pretty soon here, donate a bunch of it to charity. And yeah, pretty cool project.
All right, so real quick, just to elaborate. So it's going to put whatever it is, $2.4 billion of selling pressure, right? But again, the 32 ETH that was staked, you're only allowed to take out the earnings that you made for that staked period. So yeah, it's really going to be roughly around 2 ETH per node, right? So I guess we're just going to have to see. I'm sure we're going to see a little bit of selling pressure, but to be honest, a successful upgrade is a good thing long term. I know people don't like ETH, or at least miners, we're bitter about it, but at the end of the day, it is a good step towards mainstream adoption, if that makes sense. But whatever, let's continue.
Jen, come to a close though. I might shed a tear. Jen, I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, I think you just encapsulated this whole industry so well with the two words, fear and celebration. It seems like every day we have a new fear, but something else to celebrate. And this is one of them. When I was reading the article referenced Celsius's bankruptcy process. And there are a bunch of other bankruptcy processes. There are a bunch of companies that are trying to become more liquid in our space. And that was the sticking point for me, right? And I think, if we were looking at predicting what could have happened a year ago, we probably wouldn't have predicted that we would be in this situation where we have these companies who hold a lot of ETH that are and are coming up to this scenario where they can, make a little bit of profit for the investors that are waiting to see some money back from them. And so, Adam, I guess I have a question for you. I'm like on the fence. I don't know whether we should be afraid or we should celebrate. Do these bankruptcy proceedings actually pose as big? Could they cause as big of an event as I have set this up in my head?
So, I mean, when you're looking at kind of the overall cycle here that we've gone through with the world of Ethereum, right? Really what this is sort of the conclusion of a pretty significant chapter. And that chapter was this transition from proof of work to proof of stake. And then the transition after the proof of stake, change was made to actually being able to complete the loop and withdraw those tokens. So I think that it's an important moment, irrespective of the implications on price, because none of these things were easy to do. And there were lots of people out there who said that they probably couldn't be done. Ethereum still has some significant challenges ahead of it, notably in the world of scaling. But the fact that they were able to pull this off indicates that moving forward, I think there will be some more confidence in the project to pull off things that really nobody's ever accomplished before. Now, as far as the impact on pricing is concerned, I won't be surprised to see if the price does go down, but that's a pretty normal thing to happen after, a much anticipated upgrade comes in. Crypto is pretty notorious for its buy the rumor, sell the news type of moves, where traders effectively anticipate that an event will drive up the price and then they invest in advance of that. So I think that there are kind of two counter narratives here that are going to work against each other. One is this validation of a lot of core stuff about Ethereum, which I think makes it more investable. And then I think on the other side, with the unlocking of the supply, certainly there will be concerns about it. And I think that we very much could see people actually, make moves out of it, at least to take some profit. But I really don't think that this is a long-term dynamic. I think the short term is interesting to talk about a little bit, but the longer-term dynamic of Ethereum is the one that I'm really paying attention to. Back to you, Will.
Yeah, I think it's good to talk about Ethereum's price right now. Just like Bitcoin, it's up year to year, year to date so far, up about 60%. And then even over the week, it's up about 5% because I think people are talking about a lot given this Shanghai upgrade, and so it's going to adjust the price a little bit here. So I'm looking forward to seeing this happen. I don't think it's going to be a big price dip. The one thing we didn't mention, which we definitely should, is the fact that there's a lot of derivative products already around this whole staking ecosystem, right? So you were basically liquid the whole time if you really wanted to be liquid with your staked ETH. And so people who just chose not to use those products are going to become liquid for the first time ever. But for the most part, if you really wanted to trade your staked ETH, there was a way to do it using DeFi products. So I'm not too worried about this whole upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm honestly not too worried about it. So let's just play devil's advocate, right? Question for all of you in the chat. I guess I'll put a poll up in a little bit, but if you could gain 2 Ethereum in 2 years for just taking your holdings and putting it in staking, right, for Ethereum, would you do it? Does it make sense? If you're not going to spend the money anyways to gain an extra 2 ETH, I feel like that's how a lot of people are going to look at it. And now that there's going to be an exit plan and they know when they can get it out, it's, you know what I mean? It's kind of a no-brainer if you're going to hold it no matter what. Unless you have the SEC or whoever says it's an unregistered security and you have all that curveball bullshit that's going to be, maybe making you a little nervous about it or making you think you're going to lose it. That's a different story for another time. But it's just, if I could make 2 Ethereum by putting my Ethereum in a staking process with, timeline that I know when I can get it out, it kind of makes sense. It's free money at the end of the day, right? So I don't know. It's again, devil's advocate. I guess we're going to see. I kept my Ethereum just sitting in my holdings. I didn't touch it. I was going to sell some, but I decided against it. So either way, let's check out CNBC television. This is going to be news from yesterday. So this is a pretty decent deep dive, right, on Ethereum. So let's listen to this. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat.
Today, Bitcoin soars above the key $30,000 level. The SEC is hiring for its crypto enforcement team. And Joshua Frank of The Tide discusses Ethereum's Shanghai upgrade ahead of its expected launch.
Smash that like, guys.
Welcome to
Appreciate
CNBC's
you.
Crypto World. I'm Mackenzie Sigalos. Crypto prices in the green today, with Bitcoin climbing above $30,000 for the first time since June. As of noon Eastern, the cryptocurrency traded at around $30,200, ahead of key inflation data set to be released tomorrow. Ether also rose, trading above $1,900, and the Matic token traded at $1.13.
Real quick, Dan R in the chat just asked, what about the 32 ETH? When can you take that out? So they actually talk about that here. So let's listen to this. But I think it's not for a couple. I forget. I think it's going to be released incrementally. I'm not entirely sure. I forget how they labeled it. It was either the Lido would like break it up somehow to disperse it, or it was I don't know if like you're a sole holder of the 32 ETH. I don't know how that works, right? Because once it's unstaked, it's kind of yours, right? So I don't know. Let's listen to this and we'll continue.
Okay, let's talk about the top stories. The SEC's crypto crime department is on the lookout for 3 new legal hires, a potential sign the agency is trying to increase its crackdown of the industry through more enforcement action. Check out this tweet from the SEC posted yesterday afternoon, which notes that the Division of Enforcement for the agency's crypto and cyber unit is looking to hire general attorneys in New York, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. According to the job posting linked to the tweet, one of the responsibilities of the new hire would be conducting complex investigations involving crypto asset securities and cyber issues. The effort to hire comes after several crypto-related enforcement actions in recent months. In May, CNBC reported that the SEC nearly doubled staff of its crypto unit in an effort to crack down on abuses in the market, increasing the team to 50, which include attorneys and fraud analysts. According to Cornerstone Research, by the end of last year, digital asset market participants were forced to pay a total of more than $2.6 billion in fines, with the agency bringing 30 crypto-related enforcement actions against 79 people in 2022. Now, we reached out to the SEC but did not immediately hear back. Next, Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss are trying to help their crypto exchange by injecting cash into Gemini, which has been struggling amid the downturn. Citing people familiar with the situation, Bloomberg reported yesterday that the twins made a $100 million loan to their crypto platform recently. The sources reportedly said that the move came after Gemini had tried to get funding from outside investors in recent months. But those efforts were unsuccessful. It's interesting to note that the figure is the amount that Gemini agreed to give to some of its customers as part of that Genesis bankruptcy case. In the wake of the FTX collapse, Genesis froze withdrawals, which locked up funds for customers of Gemini's Earn Yield product. We reached out to Gemini for comment and confirmation, but as of noon Eastern, we hadn't heard back. Last, hackers just stole millions from South Korean crypto exchange GDAC. According to the exchange, roughly $14 million in Bitcoin, Ether, WeMix token, and Tether were transferred from the exchange into an unknown wallet. That transfer happened on Sunday and accounts for about a quarter of GDAC's custodied assets.
Yeah, we talked about that 2 days ago.
The exchange
Crazy.
halted both deposits and withdrawals and announced that it's working with token issuers to freeze assets as well as police. All right, on to our main story. Ethereum's next big upgrade, Shanghai, is set to launch tomorrow and will unlock more than $30 billion of Ether. I spoke with Joshua Frank, the CEO of the Tide, to find out what can be expected once that happens.
So I think this is important to listen to.
In the last 24 hours, you've seen this huge price run up with Bitcoin, Ether, Solana's up 10%. What are you looking at in terms of what's driving this momentum upward?
Yeah, so I think it's a lot of different things, and I think the answer is slightly unclear. I think one of the things to note, which people aren't really paying attention to, is actually movement in Korea. So Solana specifically, we actually saw double the volume of Solana on Upbit against the Korean won pair than we saw versus the US dollar on Coinbase, and almost the same or maybe triple that versus what we saw in Binance. So what we've been seeing actually, it's not just the last day, but it's been the last few weeks. We saw actually the same thing with the Dogecoin rally. A tremendous percentage of that buying activity was actually, even though it started on US hours, it was sustained on Korean hours. And so that's a really interesting trend that we're seeing across a number of different coins. If you look at what are the tokens that actually outperformed Bitcoin over the last 24 hours, there are very few tokens that did that. But Solana is one of them. Another one is Stacks. And Stacks also saw a lot of their volume come out of Korea, which is quite interesting. So it seems like it's retail investors in Korea that are moving into crypto. But I don't think that's a good enough answer in and of itself. I think that explains some of it. I think there are a number of other things happening in the market. The first thing is we're in a very low liquidity regime, which means that small things can actually have a very significant impact on price, right? It doesn't take as much volume to move price up, but on the same vein, it doesn't take that much volume to move price down. So that's something to be aware of in the coming weeks as well. The other things are Right. I think we're waiting to see what happens in terms of inflation numbers. There's a question of, is the market pricing in the Fed not raising rates, which the Fed is giving clear guidance that they are going to raise rates. And there are a number of other things which I'm happy to get into that I think might be moving the market as well.
I mean, to your point about the shallow liquidity in the market, yes, that means you can have outsized price swings, and at the moment, that's in Bitcoin's favor, it's moving the price up. But ultimately, you're seeing all of these on and off ramps between U.S. dollars and crypto being closed. A lot of crypto firms have expressed concern at the fact that they don't have an established banking partner. And at the end of the day, like if you want to support or even boost up these crypto prices, it is dependent upon this ever increasing flow of U.S. dollars into the ecosystem. So, I mean, what are the long-term effects that we're looking at here as a response to this shallow liquidity problem?
Yeah, look, I think that's an important point to bring up. I think there's certainly impact from that, but keep in mind, I mentioned a lot of the volume was coming from Korea, so there are other countries that can move crypto and that can move prices up. We have seen, for what it's worth, Tether's supply is almost near an all-time high. So there is additional minting of stable coins that is happening, but certainly not having access to banking for crypto companies in the United States is a massive problem. And that is going to be a problem that is hopefully solved over time. I've heard scenarios of firms in crypto actually flying to Texas to open bank accounts, because they're like, if any state is not going to care about U.S. banking regulation, is going to say, hey, we'll bank crypto, it's probably Texas. Hearing about people going to regional banks in rural Pennsylvania and upstate New York to try to open bank accounts. So it is very much a mess. But I think the thing to note is that the market is opening up in Asia, which I think is going to be driving some of the volumes. It's not just specifically within Korea, but also Hong Kong. The government in Hong Kong has at least temporarily brought forth a very pro-crypto regime. They've allowed multiple exchanges to have licenses within Hong Kong, which I think is really important to note. So that, I think, is also moving the market. But I think the other piece which people are missing as part of the low liquidity issue is the lack of lending. If you're a market maker, you can't borrow, really. It's very difficult to borrow. They're very small. There are a very low number of lenders, which means there's a lot less leverage in the system right now, which also is pushing up volume. So I was speaking to a large market maker the other day that has said that while their market share has actually increased, their volume has gone down by about 75%, which just speaks to the environment that we're kind of in these days. At this point in time.
Meanwhile, we have this huge upgrade for Ethereum tomorrow. There is this concern that now that withdrawals will be enabled, it'll mean Ether tokens flooding the ecosystem. That flood of supply could be a headwind for price. What's your read on what to expect tomorrow?
This is important to listen to.
Yeah, so there's actually two things that are happening. And so there is what's called partial withdrawals of Ethereum as part of a part of the upgrade, but there's also full withdrawals. So the way that partial withdrawals works is basically to stake ETH, you need to provide 32 Ethereum. Anything above that is your staking rewards that you're going to receive. And over the last year or so, those staking rewards have been accruing. What's going to happen is once withdrawals happen, you will see partial withdrawals open first, and any rewards above those 32 are going to be given to the ETH stakers. So your next question is, well, how many rewards is that? So on average, the average validator has about 34 ETH, so about 2 more ETH than the 32 required to stake, which is all going to automatically, it's not a manual process, automatically be sent to those Ethereum stakers. So there are about 565,000 validators that have 32 ETH, and the current price is about $1,900. And so quick math, you're looking at about $2 billion that is going to be immediately available to be sold. And
which is awesome, right? I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing. Like it's giving the people their rewards, and they still have, I mean, kind of control of their 32 ETH, right? Because the 32 ETH is still theirs and it's still sitting there staked. So, I mean, finally seeing your rewards after the period it's been staked, would you actually still want to take out that 32 ETH now that you're actually seeing rewards from it? Because you weren't going to sell it anyways. That's why people staked it, because they were just going to put it in their ledger and throw it in the safe and forget about it. So that's why I put the poll in the chat. If you guys haven't answered it, please do so. I just said, being devil's advocate, if you could get 2 Ethereum for staking your 32 you're not selling anyways, would you? And I put yes, it's just sitting there. No, I don't trust anyone with my ETH, and then unsure. So I mean, it makes sense to a point. So that's kind of why I'm leaning towards this isn't going to be too negative, but $2 billion in the market. I don't know. That's for another person to comment on, because I'm not entirely sure how bad that's going to affect things.
And that, for reference, that's going to happen over around 5 days. And if you compare that to the average trading volume of Ethereum, on Binance, for reference, you're looking at about $1.5 billion a day on a single exchange. So it's not crazy. You're looking at about $400 million a day over the course of about 5 days, which is a percentage or a fraction of all of the ETH that is sold. Keep in mind, obviously, that's not all going to be sold. Some people probably forgot they staked ETH. Maybe you staked ETH in Coinbase, and
hold on, you're on crack if you forgot you staked ETH, unless it was like a little bit. If it was 32 and you forgot, you got to go get checked out, man.
Leaving it there, you're not even thinking about it. But the kind of bigger concern is that full unstaking, right? Well, what happens when people can actually fully withdraw those 32 Ethereum? Because that's a lot more than the 2, right? And so
which is what I was anticipating. I don't know if you guys were, right? Did everybody assume that this Shanghai upgrade meant you could take out all of your Ethereum? Because that's what I assumed at first, but apparently that's not the case. So
the way that process is actually going to work is it is going to be a much more extended process over time. And the way that it basically works is that depending on the number of validators that are staking ETH, there is a very big difference in the amount of Ethereum that can be withdrawn over time. So basically, Ethereum wants to make sure that the network is secure. So the more that people are withdrawing Ethereum, the less they're going to actually enable those people to withdraw. And so for a very quick reference point, and we can get into a lot more detail if you want, it's going to take about 500 days total if people wanted to withdraw all of that Ethereum. So it can't happen in a day. At minimum, you're looking at about 520 to 550 days. But what we'll likely see at the starting point, if
hold on, 520 to 550 days. So that's like a year and a half, right? 365 in a year. So about a year and a half it'll take for you to be able to get that all out.
Assume there are a number of people that want to withdraw and sell. About $110 million is going to be withdrawn every day for the first 10 days. And over time, that's going to kind of decrease. And so what are the considerations in terms of what's going to happen to Ethereum's price? Well, the first consideration is, well, is that a lot of Ethereum? Certainly it's a lot, but it's not, this existential amount that I think people are concerned about, right? It's not the billions of dollars, the 30 plus billion that are locked in staking. It's only, $100 million a day.
Which is what I didn't know. I'm sure a lot of you guys didn't either. So that's awesome.
The thing to consider is there's now going to be a lot of investors that might want to actually stake ETH that weren't staking before.
See, isn't that crazy? Like thinking about it like that, being devil's advocate, now that they see the rewards and people see that they can make this free money, why wouldn't you want to stake it if you have that much ETH just sitting around in your wallet anyways? I don't know. It makes sense to me to a point. So yeah, whatever. Either way, that was the end of that. So we're going to get to the next thing. But yeah, shout out to CNBC for allowing us to view that. Amazing. All right. Let's see. So do you guys want to listen to some Bitcoin news and then we'll get into altcoin dailies video? Let's see. What are you guys asking in the chat? Do you have any questions? Chadwick Rayson said, working on your how to be a million sheet, making it dynamic to price changes. Oh, you're working on it, Chadwick? That'd be awesome. Dude, send it to me. Let me know. I'll take a peek at it, actually. I need to do a recap of that video because that was a really good video, but it didn't get a lot of views. I think I just need to add a few more coins and make it a different title, I guess, right? But it's a good way to look at things, I guess. Easy way to become a millionaire, right? In a bear market. Well, kind of easy if it gets back to all-time highs. But all right, let's check out this Fox Business News right here with Anthony Pompliano. He actually, dude, he's a wicked advocate for Bitcoin. So it's pretty awesome. But either way, let's see what he has to say, and then we'll jump into Altcoin Daily's video. Let's do it.
Oh, Bitcoin believers are breaking out the bubbly right now. The crypto of record has finally reclaimed $30,000. It's taken 305 days, but Bitcoin officially breached that level for the first time since June in the last 24 hours. Right now, look at it. It's at 30,419 and at pretty much it's at the 24-hour high, that is for sure. Now, of course, it's nowhere near Bitcoin's record high of 69,044 hit back in November of 2021. But Bitcoin's boost has sent crypto-related stocks surging. I mean, just look at Coinbase, Block, Riot, Marathon, all are charging higher today. You know what? Block is just about 1/3% higher, but the rest of them, I mean, Riot up 17%, Marathon up 14%, Coinbase up 6%. Bitcoin was the best, and we've told you this before, the best performing asset in the first quarter of this year. Could the crypto see back-to-back quarterly wins, and what's going to make that happen? Let's bring in one of the most well-known names in the crypto game, Pomp Investments, Anthony Pompliano, here in a Fox Business exclusive. Well, let's tackle that first. Do you think that it'll see a second quarter win as well? Best performing asset, just like in the first quarter?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I understand that people want to kind of talk about week-to-week performance, month-to-month performance, but I think that Bitcoin is a unique asset in that it forces people to be a long-term thinker about it. And if you really look over...
Real quick, somebody asked who this was. This is Anthony Pompliano. He has his own YouTube channel. Go check him out. He's actually really he's really educated in the Bitcoin or crypto space in general, but he's an advocate for Bitcoin, basically.
The last couple of years there's been incredible volatility. We've seen prices go up hundreds of percent. We've seen drawdowns that have been 50 to 75%. And so the people who end up kind of winning by holding the asset are folks who use timeless investing principles. They dollar cost average into an asset. They hold it for a long time, and it happens to be the trade of this generation. If you go back 20 years ago, the winners and losers were pretty much determined by who bought the internet stocks and who didn't. And if you could hold the right ones for a long time, you ended up having outsized returns. And so I think that the trade of this generation is going to be who bought this asset and who didn't. Now, you got to hold it for a long period of time, and you can't get sucked up into that day-to-day volatility. But if you follow those timeless investing principles, so far, those people tend to be doing pretty well.
Well, who bought it at 15,000? Because now it has doubled. I see your point there, but what do you think has been the real driver? We hear everything about, the regional banking crisis, because obviously the original intent of Bitcoin when it was created by Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever, whatever that really was that people no longer trusted the central bank or regular banks. Is it that? Is it something much, much longer in the past, perhaps? Is it inflation? What do you think?
Real quick, we just had a jump in Bitcoin price. You guys are saying in the chat? Oh, shit. It jumped up $400. What the hell? God damn. Mr. DJ Mines said the CPI data released 5%. Wow. That's crazy. All right, let's continue this and then we'll... Damn, that's nuts.
Yeah, I think people want a black and white answer, but the short answer is it's everything, right? And what I mean by that is I think that...
Mr. Zapirate, he's not I don't think he's a trader. I think he's more... Well, he might be a trader in the back end, but I don't think he does that on his channel. I'm not 100%, but I think he's more of a... kind of like a podcast guy, right? Just kind of does interviews and all that kind of stuff. But either way.
That the debt limit crisis, there are a lot of people who are saying, how do I hedge a potential U.S. default? Well, I probably needed something outside of the system. I need an alternative. Bitcoin can help solve that. There's people who say, hey, I need something that will hedge me from currency debasement. I need something outside of the system. Bitcoin can solve that. I think there's people who say, hey, I need to hedge the risk around the banking system. I need something outside of the system. I need an alternative. Bitcoin can solve that. And so you can go through all of these kind of cracks in that legacy system. And again, I don't think majority of people are taking 100% or even 50% of their net worth and they're buying Bitcoin. I very much think that the majority of folks are going and they're putting some percentage, maybe 1 to 5% into Bitcoin. And they're saying, this is the chaos hedge. This is the insurance in case there are significant issues in that legacy system.
Well,
and what is fascinating to me is that that system now has been adopted by over 150 million people around the world.
Right.
And so if you think about that, you could line up every single American citizen, and about 1 out of every 2 of them now believe that this system is worthy of some portion of the economic value that they've earned in their life, which is absolutely incredible to only be, 15 years or so into this.
But Anthony, you talk about significant trust issues. We just saw this in November with FTX, the cryptocurrency exchange that completely collapsed, filed for bankruptcy. BlockFi also having trouble. Silvergate had to close its bank. What about the trust issues there?
That had nothing to do with crypto.
I think that if you go and you ask people in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency industry, they are not trying to bet on the trust of centralized institutions. The banks are centralized. Many of those companies you just described are centralized as well. But Bitcoin specifically is a decentralized asset with a programmatic monetary policy. It is backed by the strongest computing network in the world. And if there is one thing in the world that I will bet my life on, It is the fact that Bitcoin's monetary policy will continue to execute exactly as designed.
Whoa.
No one in the legacy financial system can even tell me what the Federal Reserve's monetary policy is going to be a month or a couple of weeks from now. It's impossible to plan. The average American cannot plan their life. The average entrepreneur cannot plan their business because they don't know if the cost of capital is going to be 0% or 5%. They don't know if we're going to be in a quantitative tightening or quantitative easing. But Bitcoiners know the monetary policy till the day they die. It is written in code, audited by anyone in the world. And as long as that code continues to execute, that monetary policy will not change. And that is the beauty, is that you can trust an algorithm, just as you do in the rest of your life. You trust Google to give you answers rather than ask your friend. You trust Spotify to give you music recommendations rather than ask a friend. You trust Google Maps to give you directions rather than ask a friend. And eventually, I think you're going to trust an algorithm with your monetary policy more than you're going to trust any other human in the world.
Oh, well.
You trust Google Maps to give you directions. That was a really good analogy.
You just bet your life. Anthony, don't. Okay, we got to.
Oh, man. He just got her all hot and bothered.
I have you back because I wanted to talk about XRP. That's up 50+% year to date. There's news on Ethereum. We've got the Shanghai company, an upgrade in Shanghai that released $33 billion in token assets. So much more to come on that. Thank you so much for joining us.
That lady is soaked after talking to Pomp. He's awesome. So again, go sub to Anthony Pomp. I'll put him down in the description below. All right, let's get over to the Altcoin Daily, talking more about Ethereum. So he breaks it up a little bit and uses a clip from the CNBC live crypto world, or whatever the hell they call it, that we actually just watched. So let's dive into this. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat. All right, let's do it.
Ethereum's next big upgrade, Shanghai, is set to launch tomorrow and will unlock more than $30 billion of Ether.
You're looking at about $2 billion that is going to be immediately available to be sold.
Most people have no idea why Bitcoin fell from 69K to 16K. Most people have no idea why this happened. They just tell you that crypto's over, that Bitcoin's over, crypto's done.
I would sell my Bitcoin right into this rally. And believe me, I had been a believer one time in Bitcoin. Not here, not now.
Now, you might know, because I know that our audience is smarter than most retail crypto investors.
Obviously.
So let me tell you, let me update you. 3 big reasons, as I see it, why Bitcoin fell from 69K to 16K are as followed. Number 1, aggressive interest rates from the Fed causing investors to de-risk. Number 2, incredible amounts of fraud and leverage in the system that unwound. Number 3, people selling from fear, uncertainty, doubt, from the market overall turning over. Billionaire investor Mike Novogratz explains exactly this on CNBC.
It is really hard for people to understand what causes Bitcoin to go from 67,000 back to 16 and now back to 30, but that's what we've seen through the history of Bitcoin.
Well, listen, I think going from 60 on its way down happened because Chairman Powell got really aggressive on interest rates.
Right.
So that made sense to me. I think the last bit, I don't know if it was 25 to 16 or 30 to 16, was this collection of frauds and risk management mistakes that our whole industry had to wash out of the system. And that took out lots of leverage. It took out lots of bad actors and left the market at the beginning of the year where anyone who had to sell had already sold.
The question is, why did Bitcoin shoot back up from 16K back up to 30K? Why?
Guys, if you haven't answered the poll in the chat, please do so. I'll go over that in just a few minutes. And he gets into Ethereum stuff shortly.
Why did it do this? Do you know? As I see it, Bitcoin shot back up to 30K for 3 reasons. Number 1, anticipation that the Fed's aggressive rate hikes have slowed down. Number 2, the washout of fraud and leverage in the system is very bullish. And number 3, general continued adoption from all over the world as banks fail, Bitcoin and crypto shines through. Billionaire investor Mike Novogratz continues explaining this on CNBC.
We're having a
How excited are you guys for 2024? That's something I want to know. Leave it in the chat if you guys are excited to see where 2024 brings us. I think this is going to be an insane bull run, especially after the Bitcoin halving.
a pretty constructive rally based on a bunch of things. One is the market is pretty certain that Chairman Powell is finished or close to finished, right? We're heading into a credit crunch in the United States, and gold, Bitcoin, Ethereum, those assets that will do well in a slowdown are telling us something. The second is adoption, right? There are 180 million people that own a piece of a Bitcoin, and that number grows every year. And
awesome.
We're seeing aggressive moves in Hong Kong and Abu Dhabi and Dubai to set up regulatory frameworks to attract crypto, right as the U.S. is fighting against it. And so we're seeing a lot of Asian money move in. You're seeing some hedge funds in the United States participate in the futures market. But it's really got a story for the first time in a while.
Bitcoin's 30K price range is support turned resistance. Hopefully Bitcoin can clear 30K and turn it back into support. This will happen eventually. Be ready for it. Bitcoin's trend has changed. Corrections and volatility will happen, of course, but we are in a bull market again, in my opinion. We need to talk about Ethereum.
You're looking at about $2 billion that is going to be immediately available to be sold.
Ethereum has a major upgrade in less than 24 hours. Staking withdrawals will be enabled. 2 billion of Ethereum could be sold immediately. Again, most people are underinformed when it comes to this Ethereum upgrade. I'm here to inform you so you can make the best investing decisions. This is why you subscribe. So Ethereum withdrawals tomorrow will be enabled in 2 ways.
It's later tonight.
Partial withdrawals and full withdrawals. Partial withdrawals are anything above the 32 ETH that you have staked that you can sell. Selling any
real quick, this is the countdown. So it's 9 hours and 41 minutes from now, in case anybody was wondering.
Anything over the 32 ETH while the 32 ETH are still staked. That's partial withdrawals. Full withdrawals are selling all 32 ETH. First thing you need to understand is partial withdrawals, which is the most pressing concern. Joshua Frank, CEO of the TIE, explains partial withdrawals on CNBC.
Meanwhile, we have this huge upgrade for Ethereum tomorrow. There is this concern that now that withdrawals will be enabled, it'll mean Ether tokens flooding the ecosystem. That flood of supply could be a headwind for price. What's your read on what to expect tomorrow?
Yes, so there's actually 2 things that are happening. And so there is what's called partial withdrawals of Ethereum as part of a part of the upgrade, but there's also full withdrawals. So the way that partial withdrawals works is basically to stake ETH, you need to provide 32 Ethereum. Anything above that is your staking rewards that you're going to receive. And over the last year or so, those staking rewards have been accruing. What's going to happen is once withdrawals happen, you will see partial withdrawals open first, and any rewards above those 32 are going to be given to the ETH stakers. So your next question is, well, how many rewards is that? So on average, the average validator has about 34 ETH. So about 2 more ETH than the 32 required to stake, which is all going to automatically, it's not a manual process, automatically be sent to those, Ethereum stakers. So there are about 565,000 validators that have 32 ETH, and the current price is about $1,900. And so quick math, you're looking at about $2 billion that is going to be immediately available to be sold. And that, for reference, that's going to happen over around 5 days. And if you compare that to the average trading volume of Ethereum, on Binance, for reference, you're looking at about $1.5 billion a day on a single exchange. So it's not crazy. You're looking at about $400 million a day over the course of about 5 days, which is a percentage or a fraction of all of the ETH that is sold. Keep in mind, obviously, that's not all going to be sold. Some people probably forgot they staked ETH. Maybe you staked ETH in Coinbase and you're leaving it there. You're not even thinking about it.
So partial withdrawals, as far as impact on price, will be closer to a drop in the bucket. Not a huge concern like full withdrawals could be.
The kind of bigger concern is that full unstaking, right? Well, what happens when people can actually fully withdraw those 32 Ethereum? Because that's a lot more than the 2, right? And so the way that process is actually going to work is it is going to be a much more extended process over time. And the way that it basically works is that depending on the number of validators that are staking ETH, there is a very big difference in the amount of Ethereum that can be withdrawn over time. So basically, Ethereum wants to make sure that the network is secure. So the more that people are withdrawing Ethereum, the less they're going to actually enable those people to withdraw. And so for a very quick reference point, and we can get into a lot more detail if you want, it's going to take about 500 days total if people wanted to withdraw all of that Ethereum. So it can't happen in a day. At minimum, you're looking at about 520 to 550 days. But what we'll likely see at the starting point, if we assume there are a number of people that want to withdraw and sell, about $110 million is going to be withdrawn every day for the first 10 days. And over time, that's going to kind of decrease.
So full withdrawals will happen over 500 days plus. Understand that. Ethereum is fine. What's all
and again, that's where I think a lot of people are misconstruing the whole upgrade, right? So you cannot take out the entire 32. You can only take out your gains of that staked Ethereum immediately, right? So it's going to be within like the next 5 days, they said, and apparently around $2 billion or so liquid, right? So I don't know. I guess we're going to have to see. It might be a short-term pullback, but I really don't think it's going to be too significant, at least in my opinion, but we'll see.
Is going to mean for price?
And so what are the considerations in terms of what's going to happen to Ethereum's price? Well, the first consideration is, well, is that a lot of Ethereum? Certainly it's a lot, but it's not, this existential amount that I think people are concerned about, right? It's not the billions of dollars, the 30 plus billion that are locked in staking. It's only, $100 million a day. The second thing to consider is there's now going to be a lot of investors that might want to actually stake ETH that weren't staking before.
So this is a big milestone for Ethereum. A successful upgrade like this will be another feather in Ethereum's cap and overall give confidence to future investors and stakers, which will make Ethereum's network even stronger. Not to mention, this ushers in the Verge, the Purge, the Scourge, Ethereum's future upgrades. With Ethereum being deflationary, it seems like a $10,000 Ethereum is possible now more than ever. Subscribe to Altcoin Daily. We keep you up.
Shout out to Altcoin Daily. I'll leave a link to them down in the description below. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still don't understand how. I know it's going to take some time, right? 32 Ethereum to be able to be unstaked. 5 years or whatever, but is that all going to be, is it incremental? Like, how does that work? So I guess I'm just going to have to do some research on that, but I don't know how they would be able to incrementally release Ethereum if they wanted it to be removed from that staking process, if it had to be a minimum of 32, unless you can, I don't know if that number can, like, minimize over time as they're taking it out. It's weird. It'll go back to normal, said Serpent Tech. Yeah, I really don't think it's going to be too bad, but we are seeing we did see a crazy $400 jump during the stream, which is pretty awesome. All right. Again, in the chat, I put a poll. If you guys haven't answered it, please do so. We have 97 people here, 53 likes, and 86 votes. All right. So in the chat, I put, is it being devil's advocate, if you could get 2 Ethereum for staking your 32 ETH, basically, that you're not selling anyways, would you, right? It says, yes, it's just sitting there. No, I don't trust anyone with my ETH, and then unsure. So I have, right now, we have 38% of people say, yes, it's just sitting there. So, I mean, that's kind of my take on it, to be honest. That would be my vote. But at the same, on the other side of the coin, if it becomes an unregistered security and the SEC is making a huge deal about it, you're very unsure about what's going to happen with your crypto. That makes me nervous, right? So being locked up but able to come out again, like, you have a vision of when you can get it out. I know it's like 500 days or whatever the hell it is from now, but you still have an end date, right? We didn't know if the Shanghai upgrade was going to get pushed back or pushed further. So I feel like there's going to be a lot more people staking, at least in my opinion. All right. Serpent Tech said it'll go back to normal. It is unlocking 2 billion over 5 days. Yeah. So it's going to be like roughly, what did they say? I think it was like 400 million or something a day for 5 days. Yeah. To make around 2 billion. But again, it's not the 32 Ethereum you could take out. It's only the interest or the gains that you made for staking that, right? So whatever you made 2 Ethereum for staking 32, you're going to get available immediately that 2 ETH to sell. So it says from OG validators to newer, but I think only some will sell and many will take profits because they are up compared to where they got in. And I think that's like a lot of people that are in crypto, right? You're investing to create, more wealth over time. It's kind of like putting money into a Roth IRA or investing into stocks. You're waiting for that dividend to come in so you can, either reinvest it or cash out, whatever. The 32 Ethereum, people, that staked it at like $400. So It's a lot different than putting 32 Ethereum in right now, which would be just an obscene amount of money, like 60 grand or something, right? It's way too much. But the person that already did it, they're up on the staked Ethereum and they're making significant gains on that Ethereum that's being staked. So why wouldn't you just keep it in there? You know what I mean? It makes sense. Again, just being devil's advocate, not trying to like be swayed one way or the other. But I don't think Ethereum's going anywhere. At least that's my opinion. All right, I'm going to kill this poll here. And then I want to get on to reading something that was pretty interesting with Elon Musk. So I guess the end of the day, 43% said, no, I don't trust anyone with my ETH. So it was kind of a split decision, though, between that and yes, it's just sitting there. And then 16% of you said unsure. Interesting. All right, let's look at this. Let me see. Can I put dark mode on this? Let me see. Ooh, I can. Look at that. All right. Elon Musk reportedly buys thousands of GPUs for Twitter AI project. I want to know what project this is. You guys know? If you know, please let me know in the chat. It says, according to an anonymous source close to the company, Musk purchased nearly 10,000 graphics processing units intending to further his AI projects at Twitter. That's a bullish thing if I've ever heard one when it comes to GPUs. AI now we are talking. Dude, I know I'm all about AI too. It's pretty awesome. Elon Musk, CEO of SpaceX, Tesla, and as of October 2022, Twitter recently made headlines when he spearheaded a letter to halt artificial intelligence development due to social concerns. Did he say that? Despite the efforts, the tech mogul seems to be pushing forward with his own plans for developing AI infrastructure. A report from Business Insider revealed that Musk appears to be moving forward with plans for an AI project at Twitter. According to anonymous sources familiar with the company, the Twitter CEO recently purchased 10,000 graphics processing units, so GPUs, to be used on the platform. Typically, GPUs work on a large-scale AI models due to the massive computation power required by the technology. This follows a tweet from Musk on March 18th, in which he said that the company would use AI to detect and highlight manipulation of public opinion on Twitter. So right here, it says, in months ahead, we will use AI to detect and highlight manipulation of public opinion on this platform. He said, let's see what the was this a psyops cat drags in psyops. All right, the anonymous source reportedly deemed the project to be in its early stages, but the purchase of such a quantity of GPUs shows Musk is committed to it. One of the sources said that the project works with a large language model. However, the source also said the definite role of generative AI at Twitter is unclear. Additionally, Twitter recently acquired new talent with an extensive background in the AI field. In March, engineers Igor and Manuel joined Musk's team after working with DeepMind, an AI research subsidiary of Alphabet, Google's parent company. These developments came only a few weeks after Musk signed an open letter along with thousands of other researchers in the tech space to temporarily halt the development of AI due to a risk to humanity. Musk is also on record in 2017 giving a warning to regulators at an event with the United States National Governors Association that AI research needs to be regulated before it's too late, which is pretty interesting. So that is pretty bullish when it comes to GPUs, if I do say so myself. All right, Miss Pocket Change, good to see you. Yes, guys, please hit that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. This is pretty awesome. All right, I gotta shut off this dark mode. Man, this dark mode's cool, the extension for Google, but damn, I tell you what, it like messes up every screen I have. All right, let's see. CPI data dropped at 5. Markets are reacting. Yeah. That's why we had the like $400 rise, because I looked at it and it was red and literally just above 30. So pretty awesome. We're at 30,200 again. and Ethereum is at 18.88. Weird. Not bad. Not bad. So I guess we'll see. Again, the Shanghai upgrade is coming. Let's see. Right here, we have 9 hours, 27 minutes, and 55 seconds. Pretty cool. So we'll see what happens there. Again, I'll be back around 2 p.m. this afternoon, and we'll see where things are at then, prices and all that. So do you guys have any last questions before we get out of here? Let's see. Really, real benchmark? Dang, gotta watch that. What are you talking about, Helza? Sorry if I missed something. Still waiting for my kilowatt price going below 40 cents. Oh my gosh, yeah, dude. So actually there was, if you guys are in Massachusetts, I guess there was an article from National Grid that was stating that we're gonna be getting prices dropped back to 14 cents on the supply side. I think it's in May. So it'd be next month, right? I guess we'll see. I suspect ETH will end up classified and regulated as a security by the SEC. Yeah, could happen. Definitely could happen. Can you guys stop mining Caspa? Difficulty is too high now. Thanks. Oh, actually, you know what? Somebody mentioned that in the chat. Somebody said they would take their earnings or they would unstake the Ethereum and buy Caspa. So Caspa is so new. It's a risk. It's a real big risk, right? Because no one knows what's going to happen with Caspa. I mean, it could be great. It has a great outlook, and I really do think they have a pretty decent team behind them. So it's kind of I don't know. It's kind of up in the air for me. I would not personally take that money and invest it into Caspa unless I could afford to lose it. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously never risk more than you can afford to lose, but just, you got to be careful when it's like buying small coins like that. It's obviously going to be risky. Just, let's see. Just stay off Octaspace. I'm enjoying the extra money. What is the Octaspace? I don't even know what that is. I'm going to have to look that up now. Flux or Caspa? What's the bigger risk? They're both risky, man. They're both risky. They really are, to be honest. It's not that I'm against either one of them. They're both great projects. Flux is awesome. They're doing great things, but everything needs more mainstream adoption. Flux and Caspa, they both are going to need it, you know, and until that happens, it's a risky asset. You know, like, even if you think about it, right? How many more people talk about Shiba or Doge over Caspa and Flux? Like, average people. Think about it. Just think about it like that. What are the odds that it's going to pump higher than one of those shit coins, right? Because people talk about it, and that's just the reality of the situation. You know what I mean? Caspa is less risky than ETH IMO. You really think so, though? But ETH is an entire network, right? Caspa has great plans to, you know, become the next Bitcoin, right? It very well could. Who knows? But the odds of it happening, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. So I just released a new video with epic overclocks for Caspa. You did, Mr. Crypto Mining Insider. Actually, guys, if you haven't seen Crypto Mining Insider, go check him out. Let's go see. You did. I didn't watch that whole video yet, obviously, because I'm just a news reporter now, as Rondi would say. Bastard. Hate you so much. Let's see. Let's find your video. Crypto Mining Insider, this guy. I'm just happy you're still over 20K. That's it. I'm just happy you're still over 20K. I did see the video out though. Where is it? I started watching it.
Memory.
I forgot to like it. But yeah, I started watching this. This is really good. So if you guys are not subbed to Crypto Mining Insider, go check him out. There is a link to his video. If you guys are interested in mining Caspa, he'll teach you a thing or two. All right, Serpent, what did he say? Spec mining for the win unless you hold too long and lose out. Yeah, and that's, you know what, though? That's what happens to most people. You will hold it until it just, you know, it's dead. Well, it happened to me with Raven, right? Raven coin. I'm sure a lot of you guys are in the same boat holding Raven coin. Yeah, you know, that's the first coin I really got into. All Red Panda Mining's fault. Just saying. Got into that, and I'm still holding a shit ton of it. I've never sold any of it. Honestly, because Coinbase doesn't sell it. If Coinbase was able to sell Raven coin, then yes, I probably would have sold it. And if you guys tell me right now that you can't sell it over there, I'd be very pissed that I didn't know. But in general, I just don't have any of those other accounts to, like, you know, I guess Trade Ogre or I don't know, Xpatron or just any of those sites that take that stuff, MEXC. I don't have accounts over there, so I can't sell it. I could Simple Swap it. Actually, plug for Simple Swap if you guys are interested. They just added Caspa. I do have to make a video on that. Let me see. So, if you guys are interested, I do have a referral, and it should be in the description below. If it's not, I'll have it in Discord. But if you want to swap into Caspa, feel free. I'm assuming you can do, yeah, pretty much everything to Caspa. So, have at it if you guys would like to do that. But I mean, again, it's really risky. Just my opinion. Guys, hit that like button. Appreciate you for being here. We're gonna be getting out of here right now, actually. So get your last questions in if you have any. Fourth stream in a row with that hoodie. Bro, I take it off after I stream. It's too hot upstairs. It's like 90 degrees upstairs. I literally just take it off and throw it on the chair. So I wore it for like a total of 2 hours. I lied. 4 hours, right? 4 hours. This would be an hour stream. So eat shit, Retro Mike, all right? I want to hear it. Listen, DJ Mines wears the same three shirts for his whole channel. I don't want to hear it. DJ, I love you, my boy. I'm just messing with you. What's up, Joker Miner? Hopefully you're feeling better, buddy. All right, so guys, I don't know. I guess we'll see if there's any more news with this Ethereum stuff. But again, you can't all unstake all of your Ethereum right away. It's only going to be the rewards for the first 5 days. The entire 32 Ethereum that you staked is going to take upwards of 500 days for you to be able to get it out. So it is what it is. Back at work, having to wear a mask. Joy. That sucks, buddy. Hopefully you feel better. I change shirt for each video or stream, but jump back in PJs or chill clothes. Yeah, dude, honestly, like I said, if I wasn't taking this off and I was wearing it like all day, yeah, I'd totally not be wearing it right now. But yeah. Anyways, I do have to get some more sweatshirts. I actually have crypty.co. He's setting me up with some new ones. I'm having him add a couple new coins to the roster. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, guys, have a good day. Enjoy your day at work. Happy hump day. 2 more days to the weekend. Enjoy it, and I'll see you guys later on today around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good day, and peace out.